Before viewing this tutorial, you should be familiar with accounts, parkers, and categories in Paris. There are two ways of calculating the amount to bill each account on their monthly invoice. The most common method is billing by rate code. Each parker is assigned a rate code which specifies the parking and tax amounts to bill for him. Billing by contract is used to manage more complex billing terms. This video shows you how to set monthly billing amounts with rate codes and how to set up contracts to bill for more complex tenant leases. The most common method of billing is to assign a rate code to each parker on the Parker Edit screen. The rate code specifies how much a parker should be billed each month. From the main screen, select Entry Inquiry, Rate Codes, Edit Rate Codes to see the list of rate codes used in your facility. You may have an unlimited number of rate codes for each location. Double-click a rate code to edit it. Each rate code should have a descriptive name which could indicate that it is a regular market rate or indicate that it is a special rate and the customer the special rate applies to. The base amount field is the actual parking amount, separate from any taxes. When you leave the base amount field, Paris will calculate any sales tax or special tax that your location uses. Tax options are set on the location setup screen, which is discussed in another tutorial. Also, you can enter the total monthly amount into the base amount field and click the split button. This calculates the parking and tax amounts that add up to the total you entered. If your location does not charge sales tax or have a special tax, those fields will be grayed out. Accounts that are marked as not taxable will not be billed for any tax amounts. The full value field represents the total value of the monthly parking space, as opposed to the amount you actually bill. This allows you to track the effect of any special incentives. The free and discounted billing report will show you the difference between the amount actually billed and the full value of the space. If the rate is available to the public, check the Public Rate box. This is used to show public rates on the customer service screen or on your website. You should check the box beside each category that this rate code is valid for. For example, the public non-reserve rate should not be valid for a parker in the reserved category. The Parker Edit screen will not allow you to select a rate that is incompatible with the parker's category. Access levels are normally used when Paris is integrated with the card access system. If your location uses access levels, check the box beside the access level you will allow to be used with this rate code. One important feature of rate codes is the ability to schedule rate changes for a future date. Any billings on or after the scheduled change date will automatically use the new rate. From the main screen, select Entry Inquiry, Rate Codes, Scheduled Rate Changes to see the list of changes scheduled in your garage. Click the New button to add a scheduled change. Enter the effective date of the change and select the rate code to change. The new amounts fields on this screen work exactly like the amount fields on the Rate Code Edit screen, as does the split button. When the date of the scheduled change arrives, you will be reminded of the rate change, and Paris will automatically use the new amounts and update the list of rate codes. In addition to billing by rate code, Paris can also bill based on a contract. This method is often used to bill in accordance with a tenant lease. Contracts specify a certain number of parkers at a certain rate, based on a parker's category, and can also set minimum billing amounts. There are 3 steps involved in billing by contract. You first set up the rate codes to be used by the contract, then you set up the contract, then you assign a contract to an account. From the main screen, select Entry Inquiry, Contracts, Edit Contracts to see the list of contracts for your location. Double-click a contract to edit it, or click New to add a new contract. Enter a description for the contract, and you may want to enter the ending date of the tenant's lease. For each category, you may specify multiple tiers of parkers. In this example, the contract bills the first 5 parkers with the reserved rate code, and the next 5 at the reduced reserved rate code. If there were more than 10 parkers, each would be billed with the reserved rate code. Later on the Account Edit screen, we will show you how to restrict the account to the total number of parkers in tiers. If the account has a minimum billing or a must-take for reserved parkers, you may specify either a dollar amount of the minimum billing or a minimum number of parkers at a certain rate code. You may fill in the tiers and minimum billings for each category and then save the contract. If this lease requires that new parkers be prorated by half a month and your location normally uses a different proration method, check the box labeled Force Half-Month Proration. If the tenant lease contains scheduled rate changes, be sure to enter those for your rate codes at the time you enter the contract. If you do that, you won't have to remember to do them over the life of the lease. Once a property owner has approved the way you are billing for this lease, you could check the Approved by Contract Management box, and you might also add a note or even attach their approving email on the Notes tab. The next step in billing by contract is to assign the contract to an account. From the main screen, edit the account and then click the Billing tab. In the Contract section, click Bill by Contracts checkbox and add a contract. Specify the starting and ending dates that this contract will be used to bill the account. If necessary, you may add multiple contracts to an account, but their starting and ending dates cannot overlap. If you check the box labeled Enforce Contract Limits on Parkers, the account will not be allowed to have more active parkers than are covered by the contract tiers. After you save the account, the specified contract will be used when generating the monthly invoice. You now know how to set monthly billing rates, schedule rate changes, and use billing by contract to manage tenant leases. Other videos will show you how to generate invoices and record payments.